Good day, everyone. My name is Peter Baji. As a student, have you ever wondered how or what your GPA or your CGPA will be in a semester? Perhaps by the kind of result you're getting in a semester. Some students get to wonder, so if I get so great, where will my CGPA be? And it get them overly thinking. But in a very simple way, I'm going to show you today how to calculate your GPA and your CGPA even when your result is not yet out. Yes, it's possible for you to know where your CGPA or GPA is. We're going to go straight to today's tutorial as regards how to calculate your CGPA. Now, what is GPA? GPA means grade point average. What is CGPA? CGPA means your cumulative grade point average. Now, before anyone arrives at this, they must be able to collate the result of students. So in terms of student result, let's take, for example, that is a typical example of a student result. Let's say John's result. And in a typical result portal, particularly see the Unica result portal and many other universities in Nigeria and all over the world, they have their portal designed in this manner. And the first thing I want to bring your mind to is what we refer to as the course codes. And what are the course codes? If you've ever wondered, you see courses written like this in particular code, what do that mean? The course code are actually a unique identity or name that is assigned to a particular course, and not by the lecturers or students. It is assigned by a particular university or perhaps the NUC. So they assign this course code. Now, this course code, this GST112 means this one implied as this student is in 100 level. This one to me is a unique code to this GST. Physics, this is PHY 102. This is physics 102. So 1 means it's 100 level, 02 means it's a unique name attached to that particular course. So this is how the course codings are done. Then in terms of credit unit tells you the weights or the workload of a particular course. You see some courses are 2 credit units, some are 1 credit unit, some are 3 credit units. Now, what does a 2 credit unit means? Or let me say a 1 credit unit means it's a small course. A 2 credit unit means it is a medium or a moderate course. A 3 credit unit means it is a standard course. And let me say some courses some courses credit unit can even be as large as 6 credit units. What does that mean? 6 credit units is a heavy or a weighty course code. That means if you score better in a 6 credit unit, you have better grade system than in a 2 credit unit. Now, the CA, this CA means the continuous assessment column, and then there's the exam column, and then there's a total, and then the grades and the grade point. So let us start. Assuming a student sat for GSS 112, and then we take 2 credit units, the students scored 23 and 48, 23 and 48 in the continuous assessment and the exam respectively. The student total will be 70. Now, in the Unica results system or in the Unica grading system, anyone that has a grade of A has a 5 points. If you have a B grade, you have 4 points. And if you have a C grade, you have 3 points. If you have a D grade, you have 2 points. If you had an E grade, you have 1 point to that. And if you have an F grade, you have 0 points. Now, with this written out, that means, and from where will you get A? In Unica setting, if you have 70% to 100%, in most universities, if you have 70 to 100, you say you have A. If you have between 60% to 69%, you have a B. If you have between 50% to 59%, you have a C. If you have from 49% to so if you have between 49% to 45%, you have a D. If you have between 44% to 40%, you have an E. Anything below 39% is an F grade. Anything below 39% is an F grade. Now, what that means is this. If a student has 71, because his range is between 70 to 100, the student will be given an A grade. And if a student has 59, C is 21, this is 38, that student automatically has a C grade. Just 1 mark to having a B, but that's not the case. If a student has 76, between 70 to 100, that is still an A grade. If a student has 72, this is also an A grade, and this is between 60 to 69 is a B grade. It's a B grade, and this is a C grade based on that. This is also a C grade, and this is a B grade. So for you to be able to get your grade points, it will be equals to your credit unit times your grades. Now, that's to say, remember that these are your credit units and these are your grade points, right? Now, if a student has a credit unit of 2, it's a 2 credit units, so it's going to be 2 times what's the grade that the student got? The student got A. And what is the value for an A grade? It is 5 points. So it's going to be 2 times 5. So this is 10 points. So the student will be having 10 points here. So that's what we're going to be doing repeatedly across all courses. Now the student had, this is a 2 credit unit physics, one was a 2 credit unit, and the student had a C. A C is equivalent to 3 points. So it's going to be 2 times 3. So it's going to be 2 times 3, which is what? 6 points. This is just a 1 credit unit. 1. And the student had an A. What is the equivalence for A grade? It is 5 points. So it's going to be 5 times 1. The credit unit times the grades in terms of its points. So this is 5. The student, this is a 3 credit unit, and the student got A. A is equivalent to 5 points. So we're going to say 5 points times. Remember, we're following this formula. Grade point is credit unit times the grade. So this is the credit unit times, since it's A, we're going to multiply with what? 5. So that is 5 times 3, that is 15. And then the student had this a 1 credit unit. The student had a B. A B is equivalent to what? 4. So 4 times 1 is still 4. This is a 2 credit unit, and the student had C. So 2 times C is equivalent to what? 3. So that is 6. 1 times C. C is what? 3. 3 points for C times 1 credit unit. That's also 3. And here the student had a B grade. This is a 3 credit units. Had a B grade. The B grade points is 4. 4 times 3 is what? 12. Now the next thing we're going to do is to total our grade points, and we'll total our credit units. But why are we doing that? Because we want to get what we call the GPA. And what's the GPA? The GPA is a student's 1 semester performance. A semester performance is called the grade point average. And how the grade point average is gotten is the total grade points. You're going to write your total grade points all over your total credit units. So in short form, you can say GPA is equals to total grade points all over the total credit units. So in essence, we're going to sum all of this up, and I'm going to do that on my calculator right now. So we have 10 plus 6 plus 5 plus 15 plus 4 plus 6 plus 3 plus 12. So this student had a total grade points of 61 in this semester, all over the total credit unit. 2 plus this is 4. 4 plus this, that's 5. This is 8. 8 plus 1, that is 9. 9 plus 2, that is 11. This is 12. 12 plus 3, that is 15. All over 15. So for us to now get the student's semester performance for 1 semester, we're going to do the student total grade point, which is 61. We're going to divide it by 15. So this is going to be 4. Now, what I have on my calculator, I'm going to write in full what I have in my calculator. In my calculator, I have 4.06666 and so forth. Now, in the university system, they approximate your GPA to 2 decimal place. So what we are going to have now is we're going to have it as 4 points. We'll pick the first zero. This is going to be the student's GPA. Now, this GPA is your first semester performance. First semester performance. Now, assuming this very student goes on in the second semester using the same manner of calculation, the student gets, let's say that now this is the student's first semester GPA is 4.07. This is the student's first semester's GPA. That's a grade point average. And how do we get this? Remember, we added the total grade points, which is 61, all over the total credit units, which is what? 15. And we divide out the 4.0666, but we have to sum it up to 4.07. Now, assuming that this particular student in another semester also, because before we do that, what I'm about to do now, there's what we call the cumulative grade point average. You cannot calculate the cumulative grade point average if you don't know the grade point average. You have to first know the grade point average, and it is for one semester. So there's what we call the cumulative grade point average, and the cumulative grade point average is the total grade points for each semester all over the total credit unit of semesters. Now, what this means is that if I know my total grade points, remember this total grade points, it is, if it's just for one semester, you don't call that CGPA, you call that GPA. That's your grade point average for one semester. But then if you want to get your cumulative grade point average, you need another semester. This is a result sheet of one semester for a particular student. So now we're going to make an assumption. Assuming the next semester, this student's total, let me say the student grade point was, let's say 73. And the student's total, let's say the student credit unit for that semester was 18. Remember that the first semester, or this semester we just calculated, the student has 61 grade points and that total grade point, and they had 15 total credit units. That was how we got our first semester GPA of 4.07. Assuming in another semester, the student now has this total grade points as 73. And then let me say the total credit unit for that particular semester was 18. Then we're going to say that this student's so this is a student's total grade point, rather. This is a student total grade points, total credit unit, not GPA. And student, sorry, my bad. The student total grade point is 73. Student total credit unit for that semester is 18. So the grade point is going to be the total grade points all over the total credit unit, which is 73 all over 18. And if we divide that, if we do 73 divided by 18, it's going to give us 4.0555 and so forth, which is equivalent to 4.06 approximately into 2 decimal places. Now, this student has a first semester GPA of 4.07, and let's say the student also has a second semester GPA of 4.06. If you notice, there's consistency with these students of 4.06. All right, so we have been able to get these students' first semester grade point average as 4.07 and the second semester grade point average as 4.06. So we're going to actually find the student CGPA, like I've said. And so for us to get the CGPA, the formula is total GPA for each semester all over the total credit units of the semesters. So in other words, I can say that this student's CGPA is the GPA of first semester plus the GPA of second semester all over the total credit unit for first semester plus the total credit unit for second semester, just like that. All right. So in essence, you've gotten this. So the student's CGPA is equals to, what's the GPA? The GPA, sorry, this is GPA. What's the GPA for the first semester? That is the GPA for first semester is 61. So we're going to have 61 plus, what's the GPA for the second semester? The assumed GPA for the second semester was 73. So we're going to have 73 all over. The total credit unit for first semester was 15. So I'm going to write it here, 15 plus the second semester assumed total credit unit was 18. So this is 18. Now we're going to sum this up to get our CGPA of this student for one level which comprises of 2 semesters, first semester and second semester. So we're going to have 61 plus 73, the total. So this is a total grade point of this student for one level, which is 2 semesters, right? And let's look at the total credit unit that the student took for those 2 semesters. That's 15 plus 18. So the student had a total of 33 credit units course. Now, the 3 credit units courses, the student gathered 134 points. So we're going to do 134 grade points average divided by a total credit unit of 33. So this student's the CGPA for this level that student will be is 4.06. Now, this is a student's cumulative grade points average for one level, which is 2 semesters. So if a student wants to calculate his CGPA by the next semester, let me say the student is in 200 level first semester, the student can actually continuously, to every grade point the student adds up. Let me assume a student say, okay, what if I had A in GSS, next semester GSS? The student is going to say, if I have A now, I'm going to say 10, I'm going to have 10 grade points. How? 2 credit units times A, which is 5 points. So the student is going to add 10 here and divide by, you're going to add, so whatever grade point you add up, you add a credit unit under it. That is to say, if I want to assume that if, okay, my first 2 courses, I'm going to have 3 A's, for example, A, and let me say A. So it's going to be 2 times 5, 10. That's 2 times 5, which is 5 points, 10. 2 times 5 again, 10. 1 times 5, which is 5. So it's going to be like 25. If the student say, I'm getting 3 A's, so what is the student going to do? To continue this, the student is going to add the grade points, which is plus that 25 all over. How many credit units did the student assume is going to have A for? It was 3 of it. So we're going to say 2 plus this, plus that's 5. So as you add to the grade points in the numerator, you also add the credit units that made up that grade point. That's how you can be getting your CGPA even when result is not yet out. All right, having known this student's CGPA to be 4.06, put this particular student in a particular class categorization. That brings me to the next thing you need to know. Every CGPA has a corresponding class category it belongs. If your CGPA falls between 4.50 to 5.00, because that's the highest grading point system in most universities in Nigeria. Example, University of Calabar, the highest you can ever have is 5.00. So if your CGPA falls between 4.50 to 5.00, you're said to be a first class student. The CGPA falls between 3.50 to 4.49, you are said to be a second class upper. The CGPA falls between 2.40 to 3.49, you are a second class lower. That's your ranking. If your CGPA falls between 1.50 to 2.39, fall in the third class category. Now, it's very, very important that you gauge where you fall. Subject. Now, there's something else I want to tell you that is very, very important. The more A's you have, is going to be tilting you towards 5 points. The more B's you have, is going to be tilting you towards 4 points. For example, this person whose CGPA is 4.06, if the person keep having C more in his result sheet, it's going to be tilting the person below 4 points. It's going to bring the person down below into 3 points. So every C grade is tilting you towards 3 points. Every A grade is taking you up towards 5 points. You don't automatically get there, but that's where it will be taking you towards. And then lastly, and very importantly, what you need to know is not all credit units have the same grade points. A 3 credit unit have more grade points than a 2 credit unit. Now just imagine a student that has A in a 2 credit unit has a grade point of 10. But a student that even have B, watch, in math 102, this student have B, is even having 12 points. So if you have 3 credit units, a B in a 3 credit unit is higher in its grade points than an A in a 2 credit unit. So you have to pay keen attention. If you want to aim high and get a very good CGPA, pay keen attention also to the credit unit, because they will determine what is what, your grade points. Now you've learned something today, and I believe this video really helped you to know how to calculate your CGPA. We will still get to tell you much more about this. And if you have any question more, you can drop it in the comment section and I'll be able to respond to you very importantly. Please, since you've learned something today, I believe you learned something today, please click the subscribe button and do want to share this video and follow us up for all updates as regards our tutorial services, physics, chemistry, biology, math. See you in our next video. Thank you very much. I remain Peter Baji, and this is courtesy of Insight Tutorials. Thank you very much.